Okay, I'm just going to do a quick little video here. I had a dream just like an hour and a half ago. I laid down to rest because I get tired these days, people. I don't know. This situation with the eyes is... it makes you tired, and it slows you down a lot. Anyway, got up early in the morning, you know how that goes for me, right? Did whatever I did. And then I went to go lay down. Amari was on the bed, so I lay down on the bed, and, you know, twice today. I did it in the morning with him sitting on the couch with his leg. Okay, I'm focusing more on the leg, right? And then I lay down on the bed after like 7 hours later or whatever it was to rest, okay? And I'm working with his leg, right? Just trying to stretch it out, and you know, thinking about this leg brace that I want to make with the leather, and I actually thought of a good idea, which will require Velcro, as just in terms of reinforcing the initial brace, because I'm going to make him a little moccasin first, I think, with the foot, right, to hold the foot, right, just right, with leather, a moccasin with leather, and then I have to build something on the, you know, thigh, shin, calf, on the calf and the shin and the calf area, up and around in there. Got to make it so that he can still maybe bend his leg at the knee, right? I don't want him completely straight, but I don't know. And then, of course, something that goes up the thigh and then helps support the hip. But because his leg always goes like this, like even when they give me these little feet things for the foot, it doesn't stop this, okay? It still doesn't stop it. He needs a whole leg thing. I've been saying it for years, but besides that point. Anyway, so I'm laying there exercising his leg, you know, thinking how I can, because I got to get on it, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen when I get to the hospital. We just don't know, people. We don't know if this will ever change, right? And if it doesn't change, I don't know. Life is going to be very slow. Anyway, after I exercised his legs for about a half an hour or whatever it was, you know, talked to him and whatever, I just laid and rest. Well, I almost fell asleep immediately. Like, that's all I can say. I fell asleep so fast for whatever reason after I finished exercising his leg, right? And just wasn't really exercise. It was just trying to get it to straighten out, right? On the pillow, just, you know, just going real slow with him, and, you know, just, right? And then I stopped, and then I fell asleep really fast. And then I woke up with a dream, people. I've had so many bad dreams in this house, too many to even count. But when I have these dreams, I'm going to talk about them. Because too many come true in a roundabout way. If not up in your face like ShaMay. Dead. Under that blanket. In a hospital. Okay? Anyway, it was about ShaMay. It was about ShaMay. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm talking low because I'm like trying to figure this out. Now, keep in mind, I'm under a lot of stress, right? You know, my son cleared out the basement, and have to have yard sales as if, or whatever. I might just end up, like my son said, just dropping it off at the freaking thrift store yet and be done with it. Wouldn't my landlady just be happy? You know, that's always nagging at me, right? With that organized religion. You know, I'm not young and dumb anymore, people. I see what's going on in the province of British Columbia, Canada, with that predator class, and how they facilitate terrible, terrible, terrible things against the more vulnerable population. And my family's been right in the middle of it, right smack in the middle of it. And I was completely oblivious, living in some freaking fantasy, thinking I could make a difference in the world with the foundation, as if. So I'm trying not to beat myself up over it, okay? But I think about it all the time, because I'm like so trapped in a situation that clearly has been manipulated by the government and organized religion. So it kind of eats away at me, because there is no escape. And even when you take it to the government, whether you're asking them for help, or you're asking for justice, or you're asking for an investigation, it doesn't matter, because the government is involved and they don't want nothing to change. There's too much money involved that upholds the economy. A lot of backroom deals and blood pacts, you know. People agree to commit crimes and participate in crime, and they sign it with blood, so that if they go against that norm, they'll be taken out. So they just go along with it. There's a lot of that going on out here, people. So we know that the judge is going to come in with some ruling that more than likely will be not good for my family, because he's already stated initially that whatever I got to say is impossible, because the government and their employees are perfect and would never do anything wrong, in a nutshell. So of course I'm already in battle mode before I even got the dismissal yet, right? And I am getting tired, people. I am getting tired, but it's important to fight back, to stand your ground, to tell the story, to expose the truth. It's just important. So I'm trying not to get discouraged, because I know I'm being taken out. That judge says, go take the doctor to court, in terms of what happened to ShaMay. Yeah, okay. My doctor, my family doctor, tells me to take him to court. Yeah, okay. But as I sit here thinking about my battle plan, I'm thinking maybe I should take my family doctor to court and hold him accountable as to why he didn't expose the fact that my daughter was dead before she left the house, and then tried to hide her medical files from me after he confirmed to me that she was dead before they even took her out of his house. Just on that principle alone, people, call him on it. in the fucking courthouse. Oh, sorry, MS team with headphones on. No, I don't think so. That stuff should be televised. It should really be televised, people. Anyway, if and when and how I could ever do that is an option. Dr. Barr, the one that pillaged my daughter's body in the hospital, ShaMay, her body, I wouldn't take him to court. You want to know why? Because there's 500,000 Punjabis that would stand up and protect his ass before they would accept any responsibility as to the heinous crimes that he's committing as he's selling those organs to his people. Do you understand what I'm saying, people? Okay, that's the severity of what goes on in province of British Columbia, Canada. And the government wants to cover it up because they're in bed with organized religion. And it's not just the Punjabis, it's the Muslims too. It's the fine, fine Catholics. It's whoever they can corrupt. But in regards to Punjabis, you know, they don't let their kids mingle with each other. Boys are separated from the girls. They don't like their kids mingling with other kids that don't look like them, sound like them, act like them. So they pretty much keep themselves separated from society, except for when there's commerce in terms of selling things and that kind of stuff. Just like at that park, right? The women were over there all dancing around in their circle with their sequin outfits on, while the minnow were sitting on the grass playing freaking poker, looking as mean as freaking hell, because that's what they do. They glare at you. Not all of them, but a lot of them do. Because they think they're superior, because they own so much. But you have to ask yourself, how do they own so much? Oh, they worked hard. Yeah, back in the day, yeah. Everybody, as if they're the only ones that ever worked hard. There's a lot more going on, people, than just working hard, okay? And my family is the perfect example of what's going on, okay? In terms of the targeting of a family to which this judge is just going to throw off more than likely to the wayside. So a lot of pressure there, okay? Because I can't drop the ball, but I can't escape. There's nowhere to go, right? Even if I left, I can't rent another house, and if I do, it will be another more than likely Punjabi landlord that will, you don't like it, you can move. I'm not fixing anything. If you want to fix it, you fix it. I'm not buying nothing. If the fridge breaks, you buy your own. Or just stupid shit like that. You know why they told me they were never going to fix the porch? I've been here 12 years, people. Because the house was going to be torn down for property development. That was the excuse to never fucking fix the porch on anything. Except for that one time when they gave me $300 for that cheap plastic crap that blew off as soon as it was up there and the first wind came by. And that's why it's all Mickey Mouse together. Okay? And I had to pay the rest. In terms of, I paid my more than $300. Because I had to pay the guy to get up there and put it on there. So anyway, I lay down on the bed. I exercised Murray's leg a little bit. Just stretching it out and that kind of thing. You know, keeping him company a little bit, right? Next thing you know it, I pass out. And I wake up. Because I was standing there looking at ShaMay. And ShaMay was standing at a, like an office where they have windows. I don't know if there was a window there, but you know how they have a counter and you go and you stand and you're at the counter and she's filling out paperwork, right? And I'm not too far from her. I'm only maybe 5-10 feet away. I'm not very far, maybe 10 feet away, if that. And she's just leaning on the counter, filling out paperwork. filling out something, like she was on like a office counter or something, right? I don't know what was behind in the counter. I didn't see nobody. I didn't see anything to indicate what kind of counter it was. But she was, going to do something, right? But I noticed that she had, I'm telling you this because maybe we can figure out what it means. Okay, now keep in mind, I'm under a lot of stress, okay? Nobody's fighting for my daughter as hard as I am, people. Okay? Because nobody cares. And the few that do, they're too far away. Like Tammy, and Lucy, and Peggy, Truth for Reality, and just the handful, right? And a few others in there, they're just too far away, and just not enough of us, right? So anyway, I noticed that there's something kind of on the outside of her pants between her legs. And I'm looking, and I'm thinking, is that like a sanitary napkin, like a period pad, right? I'm like, well, why is it on the outside of her pants? Like, does she know that it's even there? So I walked over to go tell her that she had a period pad between her legs on the outside of her pants, right? There was no blood on it, but it was kind of like it had I don't want to say bluish color to it, but it wasn't white, that's for sure. And when I got to her, though, you see, this is the thing. When I went to go tell her, and I got to her, all of a sudden, you know how dreams flip, right? All of a sudden, people, as soon as I got to her to tell her that she had this period pad hanging on the outside of her pants between her legs, for whatever reason, as soon as I got to her, her legs were kind of like hanging from above, like if somebody grabbed her from her legs and pulled her up like that. And so her, body's hanging and her head's down here and her feet are up here. Well, her feet are up here, her legs, and I grabbed her, right, to bring her down to the ground because, she was, right? So I had to grab her legs to try and get her down, to lay down on the ground. Only she was starting to have a seizure. And she was having a seizure, people. So as I'm going for her legs, because when I went to go tell her, all of a sudden it switched. And her legs were it was like she was hanging upside down, kind of, right? Part of her body was on the ground where her legs were, up and suspended in the air, up like this. So I went to go grab her legs, and as I went to do that, she was in seizure. So I had to grab her. I had to grab her, people. That's the thing. I had to grab her, and I had to help her down and lay her down, and I put her on her side. Now, mind you, I'm always freaked out with this, what happened with Amari, especially with me being under attack with it. Okay, I'm sorry. You don't have a child with you like Amari for as long as I have. With all these workers, it doesn't matter what worker, and we're talking 15 at least, if not more, that I come into contact regularly over the years, all asking the same damn question. Has he had a seizure? Has he had a seizure? Has he had a seizure? No, 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 no. Oh, well, gee, you're one of the lucky ones. Oh, okay. And then all of a sudden, he gets a seizure, and then the next thing we know it, the paramedics are doing fucking reports on me that I don't even know what he reported on me yet, people. Nobody's told me. Okay? Now we know, though, they're trying to derail me from fighting for my daughters and Uncle John and everybody else. Why is the judge wanting me to separate Amari from the family in terms of the gang stalking and the targeting of my family, people? He was targeted at the time of his birth. They dragged out ShaMay's labor for 5 days, for crying out loud. Oh, just go get a birth injury lawyer. No, buddy boy, there are no birth injury lawyers out here. And if there is, you need, quote unquote, $50,000 just to have a retainer on it. And the judge knows it, people. So isn't the judge being negligent by telling me to do something that I can't do? Just like with that Sonia 2, the one that wants to blow off ShaMay as if ShaMay meant nothing just because Sonia 1 did it. As Sonia 1 is trying to cover up the fact that her kids fucking murdered my daughter. Right? As she's plotting and scheming how to run a scam on ICBC car insurance scams. So she can sit high on the horse, running around acting like she's some rich bitch, while the bitch doesn't even spend 10 cents on her grandson, but allows her daughter to continue to stalk me after all these years. And not just stalk me on YouTube, but actually come into my yard and put shit into it and take things from it. And God knows what else she does in it at 4 o'clock in the morning. And now we've got Sonia 2 trying to repeat that cycle, right? Egg it on, encourage it to continue to happen, just so that they can what? Pillage somebody else's daughter's body or son's body, because that's all it's about, people. Anyway, all of a sudden she's upside down, her legs are up in the air. I go to grab her legs, and then she starts to go like this. I'm like, oh my God. So I get her down on the ground. By this time, she's really having a seizure. And I put her on her side, and I wake up, people. I actually touched ShaMay in my dream after all this time. And not only did I touch her, but I actually moved her and I tried to help her. And I held her. What does it mean? What does it mean, people? Does it mean she's trapped? Because I feel like she's trapped, just like Sierra's trapped, just like Uncle John is trapped. That's what my government's done to this family. They not only trapped us in life, but they've trapped us in death. Clearly she wanted my help. Okay, isn't that what it's saying? Help me, Mom. Something's going on in there. Okay, why were her legs upside? Why were her legs suspended in the air as if they were hog-tied and she was hanging like a piece of meat, half hanging with half the body on the ground? Why? Why? That's a very unusual position to be in, don't you think? And just as I go to grab the legs, because clearly it wasn't normal or natural, she started to go like this, and then I proceeded to put her down and lay her on her side as she's having a seizure. And that was enough to wake me up. What is the dream telling me? Considering all things with all the stress that I'm under, okay? And who I'm up against. The Sonia 2s, the Sonia 1s, right? The justice, the master, the judge, the attorney general, the solicitor, public solicitor, attorney general, public safety solicitor, attorney general, right? And whoever else. No, Sonia 2. Oh, just take it back to Fraser Health and, sue them. No. Why don't you do your job? You're the attorney general. It's your job to monitor your employees, right? If they're committing crimes, it's your job to clean the freaking swamp, right? Why are you telling me to go back there against a corrupt corporation that clearly has a nefarious agenda to exploit the vulnerable, right? That's being flooded with organized crime. That's being flooded with organized crime in terms of organized religion, because the majority of those workers all fall under that umbrella. So, of course, they're going to turn a blind eye because they have no respect for families like mine. Period. They don't have respect for us, people. It's like my landlady said, my family wants to get rid of you. Nobody likes you. They want to sell the house. They want you to move. Yeah, I wonder why. I wonder how they learnt that. Okay? I wonder how they learnt to just not like certain kind of people. In terms of, I don't match the style. Okay? At Wally's house, when I was at Wally's house for those 8 years, his young twin sons were coming up in the ranks, were calling us white trash. Wally got on their asses. He said, don't you dare do that. They're tenants. They deserve respect. Just because they're renters doesn't mean they're trash. You understand? Just because they're renters doesn't mean they're trash. Maybe if some of those workers back in the day when Uncle John was medically kidnapped would have done the right thing, none of this would have happened. That's what I told my landlady's daughter when she came by with her husband, looking, because they were in the neighborhood. And, you know, I told her I was in court, but I can't see shit. And she goes, oh. And I said, yeah, they're probably going to throw it out, but I'm going to file another one. And she goes, ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, yeah, but you do realize that if whatever happened with Uncle John, and we know what happened with Uncle John, if that didn't have happened, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you today. Okay, but who are all those workers? Well, they fall under that organized religion with a few Catholics in there, right? Paying off bribes because Eleanor Gilding is a Catholic. Senior nurse for the province for their immunization program for all their workers in terms of the healthcare system. As if the province wants to pull the rug out from underneath her feet and do the right thing and fire the bitch. They won't, people. They won't. They'll try and cover up what happened to ShaMay before they would do anything in regards to, quote unquote, protecting the public. So, with that said, what is ShaMay telling me? It's pretty intense when you touch your dead daughter's body. 5 years or however long, 18. She died in 18, so 19, that's 1 year. 19, 20, 21. So she's been dead for 3 years and a bit. Right? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, pushing on 5 years. And I actually get to touch her in the blink of an eye. In a blink of an eye. And the weird thing is I fell asleep so fast. I said, okay, Mari, stretch out your leg. Now I'm just going to turn over and ignore you for a few minutes. Well, it wasn't even a few minutes. I passed right out, people. And I went right into the dream. And it woke me up, as usual, with these types of dreams. So not only was she hanging upside down, but she was going into a seizure. And by the time I got to her, she was in a seizure, and I got her on her side. And I was holding her body. And not only was I holding her body, but I helped to straighten it out, because for whatever reason, she was at one point hanging upside down as if she was like a piece of meat on a hook. I don't know how to explain it any other way. Why would your legs be up like this? You know how that goes, right? And her shoulder on the ground with her legs hanging, suspended. I had to grab, and then I had to help her down, lay her down, just put her on her side. She was having seizures. While I'm being punished and stalked and harassed and set up because Amari's having seizures now. As if it's my fault. Even though for years I've been listening to everybody. Has he had one yet? Has he had one yet? Has he had one yet? Oh, he hasn't? Oh, gee, that's amazing. Oh, has he had one yet? It's like they were waiting for it to happen, people. And then as soon as it happened, I got attacked. Because they're trying to set me up with something. Versus fucking really help me. Setting me up. Because they like their dead bodies on those hooks. They treat us like cattle, people. They treat us like cattle, people. That's the only thing I can think of as to why she'd be in that position, because that would be something that you would do to a cow. Or some other animal that's going for slaughter. I don't know how to explain it any other way. There's no reason for her to be in that kind of a position. At a professional office window yet. You know, there wasn't a window, it was a counter where you go, like some office building. Professional office building of some kind. She was standing there. I'm looking at her. And I could see something between her legs, and I said, what is that, a period pad? I mean, why is it there? I gotta go tell her to put it, you know, she's got something there. She needs to move it, right? I didn't want her to get embarrassed. And as soon as I got to her, that was it. It just flipped. Next thing you know it, I'm grabbing her, and I'm having to put her down, and she's going into a seizure, and I put her on her side, and I woke up. And of course, I want to cry, right? But I actually touched her. And not only did I touch her, but I touched her for quite a long time because I had to grab her legs, help her down, and then put her on her side and kind of hold her. And then I woke up. What is the dream telling me, people? What is she trying to tell me after all this time? Definitely not at peace. But we already knew that. We seen that with that dead from up with the blanket down. There was no peace with that, okay? I woke up crying with that, people, and I'm still crying after all these years, because this is what these kind of individuals in the courthouses like. They like you to cry. And when you call them on it and say, well, you know, it's just a form of loosh harvesting, you get the Sonia 2s coming in saying, well, gee, that doesn't sound very reasonable. It sounds like maybe you're suffering from psychoses because you think that we got witches in the courthouse. Well, you know what? Considering that you took it out of the Criminal Code of Canada, yeah, but you're not going to let me explain that part, though. No, because you came in with your fake freaking case law, started accusing me of things that didn't even relate to me because the case law said so. You should have heard her when she was going on with her case law, reading up on other people's whatever, and tried to make it sound like she was talking about me, people. This is why they don't want you to record it. Right? This is why they don't want it to be televised. Right? Because if anyone listened to it, they'd be like, well, hold on a minute. That's not what we're talking about here. This is somebody else from some different freaking country. Right? From some different time. Let's talk about what the case is. Versus accusing me of things that had nothing to do with me in regards to their case law. Because just by the way she was going on about it, I looked at Rhea. I said, gee, Rhea, she sounds like she's trying to make it sound like this is my story. Right? She's talking on like as if it's my story. You know, she's not even making any reference to anything that's going on with my family. That's what I mean. Like, it's how they get away with it, people. Right? So how can there be peace? Is that what ShaMay's telling me? There's just no peace? Right? She's suffering? Is that it? She's suffering? What is it? What kind? What is the dream? What is the dream saying? Think about it. You got any ideas? Put it in the comments. If you're a troll, I'll block you. Okay? Because clearly, you know, we're going to get a few trolls coming in with their fake user accounts. Oh, you're still going on about your dead daughter? Nobody cares. Yeah, nobody cares until it happens to you. But you know what? When it happens to you, your mother is so apathetic about it that she wouldn't care. You see, that's the thing. She just wouldn't care. So I could understand why you would think that nobody would care, because your own freaking mother wouldn't care if it happened to you. But, you know, I'm different, people. Okay? Did it feel good to be around my daughter for a little bit? Yeah, it did. It really did, people. Because I miss her. If she was here, oh, it would be better. Right? It'd be so much better. Right? But she's not here. So, but for whatever reason, I actually got to touch her in my dream. And I would say it was for a fair length of time, which is unusual. I had to grab her legs, bring them down, help her with the body to lay down. And you have to remember, she's going into this, right? Grab her legs. I had to lay her down gently, put her on her side. She was going into seizure as I was holding her. That took a little while. What does it mean? I don't know what it means. And she was by an office counter. It was a professional office counter. I'd even say government. It wasn't no Walmart customer service counter. It wasn't anything like that. She was going to do some paperwork of some kind, something official. Right? I was just standing there watching her. And then I noticed that sanitary napkin. Or at least that's what I thought it was. And I'm like, oh, geez, ShaMay, what are you doing? Popped out of your pants or something. I don't know. You went to go tell her. And then all of a sudden it flipped. And I'm grabbing her legs. Because she hog-tied. Hanging upside down. With her shoulder on the ground and her feet suspended in the air. And I had to bring her down and lay her down on her side and hold her. And then I woke up. And it happened that fast. In a blink of an eye. I don't even think I slept. For how long? 2 minutes? I fell asleep. Next thing you know, I had the dream. And woke up. All in the space of a short little window of time. Oh, weird. So anyway. Sonia 2 can't have the meeting on August 17th. But just citing August 17th is a slap in the face. You know, that's how they derail you, right? They, you know, right? Just, you know, they pick sensitive times to rub it in your face, right? Just like CIBC Bank served me on the day ShaMay was murdered on April 11th. ShaMay gets murdered on April 11th first thing in the morning, and CIBC serves me with court papers on April 11th in the afternoon. Well, we've got Sonia 2 saying, well, go back and take CIBC back to court. No, why don't you do something about CIBC Bank, being that they're the ones that committed fraud? They're the ones that commit backroom deals. They're the ones that steal people's inheritances and lock them away like a dirty secret because they can work in partnership with a corporation that belongs to you, Sonia, too, in terms of Fraser Health Authority. Right?